What's up, y'all? It's your boy Vinnie-Dangerous, and I am back with another installment of Dangerous Minds. Today, I got a special guest for y'all today. He is the CEO. The guy is creating a lot of great opportunities in the Charlotte area with things like the training day, open mic. Yo, shout out to CEO. CEO, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Vinny? Thanks for having me, man. Link TV, what's up?
Oh man, appreciate you joining on. I know you were a busy guy, so I'm glad you took the time out to speak with us today, man.
Appreciate it.
Yo, so first I wanted to commend you because you're somebody that, like anytime somebody's really putting in the work to help out independent artists and really like give legit platforms for artists to, develop and really showcase their talents in a place where they're not being taken advantage of. That's something I always want to give props to. So that's the first thing, and then the second, I just wanted to ask you how you've been, with the pandemic and everything like that. How are you feeling? How has everything been affected, during the situation?
I mean, I think the pandemic affected a lot of people in many different ways. It's just how people adapt to
Mhm.
the changing and in the world, not even just in their households, but the world in general. So and just being creative and innovative and finding new ways to be productive, in whatever that you're doing. If you're an artist, entrepreneur, you plant you plant trees, whatever the case, just being innovative in what you're doing, being creative and finding a way to stay busy, during these times because the world is changing, so you gotta, be adaptive to the changes.
Yo, facts, man. Because a lot of people, it really shook them. There was a lot of people that they took advantage of the time, and there was other people that were just kind of like just waiting it out, and because they couldn't really function. I know you
Right,
started the training day open mics. You started that maybe right before the pandemic. Like I know you guys
right,
just celebrated your 2-year anniversary,
right.
so it's dope to see that you guys were able to like pull through, even
hmm
being somewhere something new that still pulled through and saw the other end of it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it was easy. It was extremely difficult. Especially when you have a platform that have people that gathers under one space.
Mm-hmm.
So it was real challenging for us to continue that. So, but we found innovative ways to keep it going, keep the platform moving by doing online open mic, so to speak. Just keeping it active and adapting with the times. So I think us being adaptive and going online and using social media as a platform to still showcase the artists that kept us in the know and that just kept the train moving. So, just got to be innovative.
Yo, dope, man. Now tell me, how did everything before all that, when you started it, like tell me about your story and like what kind of led you to this point. Like how did the training day open mic get started?
Right. I mean, I was an artist back in my heyday. I was a signed artist, independent. I was fully independent. Well, not fully. I was fully independent at first. Then I got
Mm-hmm.
signed to an indie label. And just long story short, man, just having the mindset of an indie artist and then being signed to a label, and knowing my worth as an artist and knowing that okay, I know what my lane is. I know what I need to do, and just branching out after I was signed and I got out and I was like, okay, trying to find my lane. So me being an artist, I know, and being a signed artist and working with heavy hitters and these labels and things like that, I knew on that end what it took to get signed, So in moving to Charlotte, it was just trying to find my avenue of where, because my passion for music, I didn't really was messing with music at all. So when I
Mm-hmm.
came to Charlotte, I started the podcast, No Advisory Podcast. We became the number one urban podcast, entertainment urban podcast out here in Charlotte.
Nice.
So, in doing that, I'm like, okay, I started getting back into the music because having independent artists coming on the platform, interviewing them, going to different events, covering it kind of fueled my passion back for music. So a longer story short, shout out to my man D Dre, who was at an event and he was I think he was hosting the event, or he put together the event, and I was chopping up with him. I was like, yo, figuring out what the Charlotte music scene was like. So, and when I was an artist in New York, I was doing an open mic called Training Camp. Shout out to my man Mental Supreme. And that was running for like 20 years plus. I think he just recently stopped it. So, in being in that environment and then coming out here and seeing the music landscape out here, I was like, okay, let me see if I could bring forth the training camp out here. So I reached out to my man Mental. He didn't really want to have me using that name out here because he established that in New York, rightfully so. So I was like, I want to still educate the artists and give them a platform for them to do their thing and kind of build them up. So I was like, all right, I'm going to name it Training Day, since it's just like on one particular day, So in doing that, it was like an open mic, but also I used to do showcases in New York. So I wanted to kind of combine the two, where you come, you get the artist development, but also you get to win certain prizes and things of that nature. So putting those two together and having it all under one umbrella, and that's where Training Day came about.
Dope, man. Like with the podcast, let me talk more about that before we get into the more about the open mic. Like, because so I guess what led you to do the podcast and kind of like some of the stuff that you normally would talk about on the No Advisory podcast?
Well, you said what got me started? That's what you said?
Yes.
Well, when I moved out here, I was kind of like trying to find, because I got my clothing line, if you see it in the back, that's one of my designs, the Biggie design.
Oh, so, I like that. That's dope.
Appreciate it. So I was like, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So I'm like, okay, let me find my way out here in Charlotte. I like to talk shit, So I was like, what could I do? Trying to find my way out here, my footing out here, so to speak. So I had a radio interview with a young lady named Shanice. She had a radio show. I did that show about the brand, and then her personality was crazy. So in my head, I was like, if I ever decided to do something like far as talking, I always had it in the back of my mind. So in doing the clothing line, I was like, how can I get it out here in Charlotte? So I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a podcast. At the time, it was bubbling. So I was like, let me get into it now. So then I got into the podcasting, and then doing that, that was just created to promote the clothing line. And then it just, from that, I wasn't even promoting the clothing line because it started the bubble. So I kind of lost focus with my clothing line doing the let me exit this out. I kind of lost focus with the clothing line because the podcast was doing so good, so, and then we won like 3 awards out here, stuff like that. So what turned into something promoting my brand turned into something bigger with the podcast. So, but it just brings everything full circle, because without the podcast, the clothing brand wouldn't be out and Training Day wouldn't be out. So.
Yo, nice. I like that synergy too. It's like everything's connected.
Right.
Since it is the No Advisory podcast, and since Dangerous Minds, I gotta say, with my before doing interviews, we would just be on there talking shit. And I've actually gotten into some trouble. Like people have tried to come at my neck about some of the stuff I've talked about. So if that ever happened to you, like, has there any been something that was controversial that may have rubbed some people the wrong way?
I mean, listen, our brand is called No Advisory Podcast. So that name in itself brings about controversy, So, I mean, we haven't really gotten into nothing where it was something where it was like real controversial, because we give people disclaimers like, if you come on here, this is the name, we live by the name. So, we're going to ask you any and everything, and we take it on the chin if somebody feel offended, but that is part of the brand. So, we never ran into nothing where it was like really controversial, because that's part of the brand.
Okay. So no artists or anything tried to get, be upset or anything like that with y'all?
Well, it was one artist. I'm not going to front. It was one artist when we first started. I'm an honest individual by default. And this one guy, I forgot his name though. Even if I did, I wouldn't even say it. But he came on and he's like, sometimes we have the artist on. We say, hey, kick a little freestyle. I want to hear it. It was, it wasn't up to par. So I was like, yo, that ain't it, bro. I was like, that's my way of saying it is trash. Like, that ain't it. So artist, if I ever tell you that ain't it, it's trash. But he kind of felt offended by that. But I'm like, yo, if you're an artist and you can't accept constructive criticism, what are you doing music for?
Oh
So
yeah. Like I was having this conversation. I think it was I don't know if it was this year or last year, but I remember Sweetie was
oh,
on
okay.
the Hot 97 and she did a freestyle and like Ebro basically let her know like she and respectfully, but just saying, yo, it wasn't it. That ain't it.
Right,
And
right.
like she was talking about how this is the type of stuff that used to get me in trouble because I'd bring this stuff up. How like it just made her depressed or something like that. And I was like,
Right,
I could, respect to your mental health, but this is the music industry. And if you want to be a
right,
rapper, especially the way rap is, like
right,
its roots is cutthroat. So
right,
you got to be able to take that. If somebody's like, yo, it's trash, either you work on it or you just keep it moving.
right. Shout out to Swati. I can't even pronounce her name. Swali. But
Sweetie.
Sweetie, yeah, shout out to Sweetie. But this is like you said, man. If you're not built for this industry and you can't take that constructive criticism, if that don't make you stronger, if that make you weaker, then you got to get up out of here.
Oh yeah. Like I know you critique the artist at the training day, open
Mm-hmm.
mic. Is that
Mm-hmm.
kind of the same energy would you give? It's like, yo, man, if it's not it, that's not it.
Yeah, because because I'm, from my era of how we used to do things is different from this era. So a lot of these artists these days is super sensitive.
Yeah.
So you say, hey, your hat is wrong. They, "Oh, no, you hate, and you know what I mean? It's like it's crazy, crazy. I deal with it all the time.
Mhm.
So our approach is, well, with me rather than and my team, we try to, is encouragement. It's like, hey, like for instance, is one guy shot at my man Two going, he's performing and he held the mic down and you couldn't really hear him. So
Mhm.
when he came off the stage, like, yo, bro, you know what to make your performance better, mic etiquette, hold the mic closer like this, and kind of that it will make your words project more. It's like, oh, yeah, yeah. So in doing that, that's kind of like encouraging the artist that are like, yo, man, why you do it like that? So it's your tone and how you approach people. I've learned to be
Mhm.
better at that because artists these days are super sensitive. So yeah.
Oh yeah. And like being an artist and dealing with artists,
Mm,
like that kind of criticism at an open mic, because that's what it's supposed to be for. You're supposed to go to
right,
places like that to get better. This is where it's like, all right, I don't have shows booked because I'm a new artist.
right,
Like this is where I could go to hone my craft, try out new music, try new things out.
right,
And you would want somebody to give you the feedback, like, all right, this, I see where you were going with it. Maybe try this or proper mic, like breathing or
right,
proper like ways to hold the mic. Make sure that
right.
people know not to rap over their lyrics and make sure they got performance tracks like ready in the cut. That
That's
kind of
right,
stuff. A lot of artists are sensitive and take this stuff as an offense, but that's
right.
the kind of stuff I was looking for when I first started. And I was looking for
Mm,
people, and there's other people that just let you get up there, uh, looking crazy, but won't give you no type of feedback.
right. And that's one of the biggest things, with training day is that's one of my biggest pet peeves is like performance tracks. I hit it in these guys' heads all the time. I put post up, I say it all the time. I even went as far as listen, if you do not have a performance track, you cannot sign up to training day. That kind of I went too far with that one because nobody didn't really come. So I had to say like I can't put it on every artist, right? So the artist that takes the information, takes what we give them and utilize it are going to be completely better artists. And then when they come to the training day and those are guys that take their advice and all the other artists see that and like, oh well, this guy, and then they win the training of the night and stuff like that. They're like, okay, maybe I need to do this, but you can't knock it till you try it. So a lot of artists don't know what a performance
Mhm.
track is, what a show track is. So it's like educating them. And then when they get up there, they be like, oh yeah, I could I like performing without my lyrics. Yeah, because
Mhm.
you ain't battling yourself. Crazy.
Oh yeah. I mean, because even I didn't know, growing, I didn't know what a performance track was. I thought, oh, I'm just gonna pull up with my tracks. Somebody
Right.
explained to me, it's like, nah, it sounds clearer, it sounds better. Like I'm watching the footage back because I got somebody
Mm-hmm.
taking footage. I was like, all right, yeah, it sounds like three different voices on the track.
Right.
Because you got
Right. And
my vocals, my double ups, and me trying to perform. It just sound crazy.
right. But then in defense, to some of the artists or some of the venues, I should say, like some of the venues are not sound equipped for live performances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of artists that say, well, the mics is trash, so I gotta perform my music. But I tell them to combat that, I'm like, yo, then just go a cappella, just freestyle it raw. If your mics is trash, it sounds some trash, like we ain't doing that track. So this way people can really hear your lyrics and feel your bars and feel the music as opposed to you just singing it and battling over your own beats.
Oh, facts. As a matter of fact, one thing I learned from an open mic that, it's like you learn stuff like I didn't know what mastering was, like mastering a track, mastering a song. I didn't know that until dude was like, yo, on my sound system, this doesn't sound right. It sounds like
Right.
it wasn't mastered. It's not no to the highest quality it could be. It's like, okay. Then
Right.
after that, I'm just learning, I'm my own engineer to a certain
Right.
extent. They're like from the notes that I took from, from the open mics.
Right.
Like I
Right.
know a big thing for you is when you were putting this together, because before we do these interviews, for anybody that doesn't know, we do these conference calls, beforehand, just kind of get an idea. And like one of the things that you said that like really stuck out was that like one of your biggest things is artist development, because there's a lot like what made you, I guess, because a lot of people put together the open mics, to make money, to kind of showcase their brand, but it seems like you have a real passion for making sure that these artists are prepared or preparing themselves for the next step in their career. So what was kind of like the catalyst for that? Why is that so important to you?
Right. Because, me being a former artist and me being like, I was like fully independent. So I will always, my having owning my masters, my publishing, having my, just having all my business side taken care of. And that allowed me to have leverage, when the indie labels sought me out, because I didn't seek them out. They saw me, they came to me like, hey, I was feeling your music. And they was like, hey, try to throw contracts in me, like, hold on, let me have my consultant look at that. They're like, oh, you got, they were surprised, like, oh, you got that. My guy, yeah, got my guys looking over. So, in my era of music, it was like, okay, for me, I had to have all my ducks in a row, have my business situated. And I just see a lot of artists in today's music, they getting taken advantage of. Like I was around when 360s first came out, and I'm like, these guys are signing these type of deals, and it was just mind-boggling to me that a lot of these guys don't know the business side of music. Music is like very minute compared to the music business and the music industry. Because if you're an artist and you do music, it's easy for you to go in the studio and record a song, but that's just like 5% of it. The whole 95% is the business. And a lot of these guys don't know. And me being a former artist, knowing that, I feel like it's like my duty to tell these guys, especially if I'm putting my face and my brand into an open mic, I want them to be educated as much as possible of what I did and how I came up when I was an indie artist and my business acumen that I had, and instill that into these guys that come through the open mic. So I'm kind of like, a manager of abroad to all these guys that come through. Some of them have the business, some of them don't. A lot of them don't. Like a lot of them don't even know what a copyright is or what a trademark is. So it's just me educating these guys. And my be all is like, yo, I tell these guys all the time. The only thing I want is a bottle in a section. Y'all blow up, that's it. I tell them that all the time. Every time I'm like, yo, what I want? A bottle in the section. Because it's when you're not in it for the money, when you're passionate about it, it's a different feel, it's a different aura. So when artists come to training day, they feel that. They're like, yo, these guys ain't about the money. It's really about trying to help these guys perfect my craft and perfect my business as an artist.
Dope, man. Yo, like as an artist myself, that's real refreshing. There's a lot of people that's just ready to make a quick buck
Yeah,
on
man.
people. Like I had this, and I don't want to call them out, but I was telling you there was this whole debate. Like I'm from Fayetteville originally, and a lot of Fayetteville rappers was going in back and forth about this showcase, and it's like $100 to perform,
Mm-hmm.
and
Crazy.
it's like, but you still expected to sell tickets, and it's a crazy scenario. And I remember, being approached about it, and I was like, nah, that's not, because that just
Right.
sounds like it's just all about. I mean, you may get a little something out of it, but it's not worth the price at the
The
end,
price.
especially where you could be taking that money and putting it, and like going to somebody like you and going somewhere like training day, you can
Mm-hmm.
learn like, hey, I could pay $100 to perform at this one spot where I'm only performing 2 songs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of 20, maybe one of 30 different artists, so I get lost in the shuffle. Or you can take
Right.
that money and put it into getting your LLC, or save up to get your name trademarked, or
Right.
like learn about advertisement,
Right.
digital distribution, things like that, that money could be, better used for.
Right. Yeah, because I tell us all the time, I'm like, you know, you got to see what's tangible. It could be showcases that be $100, but you got to look at the people that they have. There's a lot of times some people or some showcases be like, well, we got this person from this record label, and that could be like the janitor that be at the label. It's not credible. It's not. It's just really they're just throwing labels or names on there, and there's nobody that can really help you with your career. But there are some credible joints where, okay, you may have to pay that bill, but everything is Googleable, right? So
Mm-hmm.
say they got this one guy here, Google him, see where he's at. If you see like, okay, this guy can really help my career, I see why I have to pay this ticket, because if they know the business side, they got to bring this credible guy in to watch you guys, so
Mm.
he got to get paid, right? So you got to look at that. If it's you paying $100 and you're not getting nothing out of it, like no prize, you just paying $100 to perform in front of just a whole bunch of artists, you are getting jerked. So a lot of these artists, they don't, I get it, they want to perform, but you just got to look at the credible shows from the non-credible shows,
Mm.
and take that money and get promo material. These guys be going to these showcase, open mics, whatever, no promo material. Like after you
Mm.
perform, follow my Instagram. Nobody ain't really doing that. You know what I mean? Give them a little something that they can hold, feel, touch. Okay,
Mm.
or if you want to do that, physically go up to them and like, hey, I'm gonna check out your phone. It's different ways, but a lot of artists don't get it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's part of the game though. Like, you gotta like just throw the information out there, and some people will get it, but most of them don't. It's just
Right,
there's the way it is. Uh,
right.
I know one of the benefits that you spoke to me about, that come from the training day, because you guys just started these mixtapes, the
Mm-hmm.
mixtape series. I know you
Yes,
just put out the Unsigned Kings. I was listening to a little bit
yes.
of it. It's a lot of talented cats on there,
Appreciate it.
that made the mixtape. Oh, no problem. So tell me about how that came together, and where that idea came from, and like what's the future for that series.
Because actually we had one out previously. We had it was called June 27th. Like me and shout my man DJ Scott came my DJ. It was an off night that night, and it was like, but every single performer like hit. And we was like,
Mm.
yo, tonight was a golden night. So my man Scott was like, yo, we should make a mixtape of that night only. It's like, yeah, let's do it. So he put something together. We just put it out, whatever. It didn't really do that good, but it was just like something that we put out. So now, as we grew, and then we had other artists that came through. That's they've been coming through the training day ranks. We like, we got to do something to not only showcase them, but showcase like artists can come together and create a movement, because we didn't create it, the artists created the movement. So we was like, okay, let's put this mixtape together. But this time we wanted to construct it, put a little promo behind it. So this way, people see, okay, if they come to training day, these guys put out mixtape for they artists that come through there. They doing this, they doing that. So it kind of propels the movement further, and to get people that's on the outside looking in, like, I want to be a part of that, because no other, what other showcase or open mic is like putting together projects for the artists that come through
Mm.
there. So we wanted to pioneer that. It may be one other person, I think, that does it, but I don't think to the extent to how we do it. We're like, it's just, we're going to be putting out, this is volume one. We're working on the Unsigned Queens right now. All the ladies that came through the training day doors. Then after that, we working on like a collab lyricist tape, like all the artists that got like real bars. We working on the mixtape with that, talking to them now. Then after that, we're gonna do the Kings and Queens mixtape. So bringing all the Kings, all unsigned queens together in a mash tape. So yeah, it's just getting the brand out and shedding light to the artists that we got that come through the doors.
Yo, dope, man. I can't wait for those, especially the lyrical one though. That's more of my
Oh,
bag. And
oh
like, so
yeah.
I definitely gonna be tuned in for that one. Where can they
Wait till
check
you hear
them
the
out?
wait till you hear the beats. Wait till you hear the
Oh, the
beat
beats.
selections for that. Whoo! If
Oh,
you
you
will
got like some local producers for that one?
well, no, what we doing is we you know how we the posse cuts, the fame we got like some of the
Oh yeah.
hardest posse cuts out. We focusing on that and some of the classic like collab beats, but we doing like industry beats. So this is gonna be like you know, these dudes, I told them that's not gonna come out till uh probably February, March, because these guys I told these guys are really right. And these are
Mm-hmm.
all the dudes that got lyrics. So I'm like, they gotta write. So I want when this tape come out, for the people that appreciate hardcore or like real lyrics, this tape is for y'all.
Dope, man. I can't wait for that one. You said that's gonna be like maybe around February of
Yeah,
next year.
probably late February, yeah, March, because we got to do the Unsigned Queens first. That's coming next. Let that bubble. Then
Mm-hmm.
still the Unsigned Kings is moving. So we're just gonna step by step. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming, man.
Nice, man. And like that's going Audio Mac, right?
Well, we got it's on all streaming platforms, but and
Oh,
now
dope. Okay.
my guys got on me for that. Like, why you just put on Audimac? I'm like, it's on all streaming platforms, but the reason why I did Audiomack, because Audiomack is for everybody, it's universal. They can just scan it and anybody, you don't have to have no iTunes, no Spotify, you can just play it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have all the other streaming platforms, yeah, it's on all streaming platforms. That's what we use for the Instagram promotion, but the flyer promotion is for Audiomack. So I kind of had an idea how I wanted to do it. So it's working because Audiomack doing numbers and iTunes, a lot of all that stuff doing numbers too. So yeah.
Yo, dope, man. Yeah, like I like the way that was put together. Like it really felt like, all right, these are all artists, and like everything from the song sequences to the cover
Mhm.
art to the artist selected, like everything I could already tell, like it was a lot of like care and thought. It wasn't just slapped together, which is
Right.
definitely I appreciate it. I definitely got to make my way out there. I've been meaning
Yeah.
to, just because it's like that's on, like, since it's on Monday. I just gotta make sure I got time to make it
Right.
out there to Charlotte from
Right.
Raleigh.
Yeah,
But
that's the truth. But listen, man, you come, the only turn up like that on Mondays is training day CLT. You come through on Monday, you'll think it's a weekend day in there.
yo, dope. Matter of fact, yo, because I was about to say, if I want to spend a Monday, that's probably something I want to do. I want to go out there like training day and like really get, even if I'm just there like in the crowd, because the Unsigned Kings, that had me hyped. Like I'm like, all right, so I know it's a real talented cats coming out there. So even if I ain't
hmm
performing, I just want to go for the show.
hmm Yeah, man. Shout out to my guys, man. Shout out to my two hosts, Trap Sid and Coco. They keep the show. It don't matter if it's 100 people, 10 people, they gonna keep that show rocking. So shout out to my girls, Trap Sid and Classic Coco.
Yo, most def, man. So yo, I once again I want to say I appreciate you making time out in your schedule to talk to us.
Already.
Much success to you, training
Appreciate
day
it.
and everything that you put your hands on. Like, is there any like final words you want to leave with the people? Like, anybody that's coming across your content, whether it's the No Advisory podcast or the training day open mics, like, what's the I guess, like, what's the lasting impression you want to leave on them?
I just tell people, man, like life is not a remote. If you want some change, you gotta get up and change it yourself.
Mm,
That's pretty much it, man. Like a lot of people is stagnant or they complacent, they comfortable. You just gotta get up and do what you gotta do what you want to do. Like my man Jay said, you like everybody got a God given talent. You just gotta tap into that talent and make it, make it useful for yourself. So I just tell any artist or anybody, whether whatever you're doing, tap into your God-given talent, use it to the best of abilities. Don't sleep on it, grind. And if you got to be persistently consistent as well. So if you're persistently consistent, you will enjoy the fruits of your labors. It could be just very minute at first, but as you keep being persistently consistent, you're going to see the flowers start to bloom, and you're gonna be like, okay, so those are my final words for anybody that's watching, listen, will watch, listen, do those.
Yo, much respect. Yo, that's definitely something to like take with you, because like that life isn't a remote. You got to get up and change yourself. I've never heard nobody say that. Like that's something that's gonna stick with me.
Yeah, man. Shit. Get off that couch. Stop being lazy, guys.
Well, yo, man, I once again appreciate it for you joining the show. But until next time, hey, no problem. But until next time, it's your boy Vinnie-Dangerous. This has been Dangerous Minds. Much love.
Shout out to y'all, man. Vinny, what up? Salute.
Salute.
Already.
Trust me, I'ma be ready when they come for me. Dying soon, black man, so he might be dying soon. One supposed to make it past 22. Now he 28, that 6 years overdue. Just let you know I'ma be on guard. Whether no hood or a superstar, it really don't matter where we are. It just matters in the cars. The devil's working hard, so pray for me.